Right, here we go. This is Allan, and he's about to demonstrate the use of silk as a covering material. We have a carrier layer of tissue that's had a couple of coats of, did you say a 60-40?
40-60.
40-60 dope, shrinking dope.
40% dope, 60% thinners.
And Allan has got vast experience of modelling, maybe free flight, because he's an old bugger, I suppose. And other than maybe Eric at the club, I think he's probably the most prolific modeller. Perhaps we'll have a chance to show you some of the models he has in his den. So we've now got to the stage where the tissue's on, and we have some silk now. Could you tell us something about what that silk actually is?
Yeah, the silk comes from Rainbow Silks.
No sponsorship deal involved, but it's
no, it's just
and
something that we found on the internet. And
but what is the actual silk called?
It's called 5 Pon.
Pongi? Is it
Pongi?
Pongi 5.
Pongi 5.
So it's a strange name, isn't it?
It's the cheapest one on that particular website. About £5.90 or something a square metre.
Yeah, it's primarily used for like dyeing and making scarves and things like that. I believe for the people who were using it for its primary purpose.
A lot cheaper than modelling silk, and a lot denser than modelling silk.
Yeah, the weave looks a lot tighter. Well, I'll just do a little close up there. It's a very, very tight weave for silk anyway, because silk it tends to be quite open, doesn't it?
Yeah. And basically just lay it onto the prepared tissue of the wing, and wallpaper paste is used, quite thin, about the same consistency as dope.
Yeah. Not
as thick as you to put your wallpaper on the wall. Right, so I'm going to start and do it now. So I load up the brush and just brush the silk up the centre, out to the leading and trailing edge. And as you go, you can take out the wrinkles.
All right, you're using quite a broad brush, soft brush there, aren't you?
Yeah, the bigger you can get into the pot, the better. And a soft brush, like you say, Mark.
I had heard some chaps using like a credit card and then squeezing it out with the credit card.
The trouble with that is it tends to click.
Or catches the weave.
Catches, and you don't get the same. You don't get the same brush ability with the card that you do with the brush.
I like the way that's going on. It looks good.
And it's very easy. And I tend to, on the leading edge, try and push it right down onto the leading edge.
Do you take it over at all, or do you just take it right to the...
When it's all dry and when the dope's been put on, I tend to sand.
Or sand it out to give a nice edge, yeah.
So that's the first process.
And you just leave that to dry out naturally?
The second process is kitchen towel.
All right.
To take off the excess. You don't actually need to do this because
and of course that's going to help it smooth onto the tissue as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So now what you need to do is just let it dry, or dry it with a heat gun.
Yeah.
And
you just got to pull like a wrinkle out if you catch it, I suppose.
And there you go.
Excellent.
Now that'll take probably 24 hours to dry properly.
Right.
And then before you do anything else to it, you need a coat of dope.
Because it's not actually glued to the surface, is it?
To the surface. All that is doing is holding it there until you get the first coat of dope on. The reason I put 2 coats on the tissue is so that when you put the thin coat of dope onto this, it activates it and glues it down.
And binds the two together, yeah.
And that's it.
Excellent. So, how many layers of dope would you apply to that to say it was finished?
It depends what you're going to use.
Yeah.
If you got to paint on top, I would say you need at least 3 decent coats to fill up the grain.
Obviously
or
thin
if you
down.
want to see the grain, because it's that sort of aeroplane.
Yeah, the weave.
You can get away with 160/40.
Yeah. Cool.
There's still quite a bit of dope on because of the tissue.
And the strength's going to come when you get bind the two together.
Yeah.
How much shrinkage does that experience then? Does it?
Doesn't shrink at all.
It doesn't shrink.
No, not now. If you were putting it onto an open structure and doping it, it would shrink.
Yes.
But that stays where it is.
Excellent.
Later, if you've got some dry bits, which I have got there, you can easily go over. And even when it's dry and you've got some lift, and you want to,
you can peel that bit back off.
Yeah. And if you get it wrong, you can just get hold of the corner and just take the whole thing off.
Right. And could you tell us what this model is? Because people are bound to ask.
It's Bill Winter's Vagabond from 1947.
I can attest that this flies well.
The model flies extremely well.
Yeah, because the previous model, Allan decided to launch it into the air but didn't turn the receiver on. Is that the model?
That's the fuselage.
Lovely. That's not the one that flew away though, is it?
No. This is a new one.
We got it back though. There was somebody spotted it and phoned you up. Vagabond, 1949.
49, see, I was wrong again.
Yeah. Brilliant. Right, excellent. Just pause it there for a second. Right, here we go. This is some of Allan's den. Right. Right, how many models are in here, do you think, Allan?
There's, including the control line models and gliders, there's 98.
98 models.
Ready to go.
So there we've got a stack of wings. Fuselage.
All free flight.
All free flight over here. Then there are more on the top.
Gliders and so on.
Is there actually some sense and reason to which way you've got these? Like, is
No.
there? I was going to say, where is it?
Tailplanes take ages to find.
And then we'll have.
Most of these are.
That's a bend buckle, isn't it?
That's no.
Is it not?
No.
Looks very familiar. Yeah. They're just the approach for doing the.
Right.
Doing the.
It's
the
a moth. It's a moth.
It's a moth, though, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a free plan in Aero Modeler.
What's this one here, Al?
Well, you should know. It's a Matador.
Is it? It just looks bigger up close like that. Yeah. Great model. I've only managed to fly it twice now, but great. Love the old spats on these. I wish I could get away with it on the field. Sometimes you can when the grass is cut really short and nice.
Yeah.
Misspent youth, Allan. Misspent middle age and misspent old bugger time. That. What's this one up here? Is that the one you had up the field?
That's the MG Sportster from
all right.
1934.
Even some rubber power there, I can see there.
Yeah, that's an open job.
Brilliant. Right, here we go. This is part of Allan's engine collection because there's a lot more in the models. But he has a stash of all kinds of engines going back to your free flight days.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the engines are older than that. I didn't start till 1959. And there's quite a lot from the early 50s and from the 40s as well. All of them have been run. I don't have anything new in the box. I can't see the point in that. The engines are there to be played with or to be put in aeroplanes and flown. But all of them have been run. Some of them I've had virtually since I started.
So we've got glow. There's a lot of glow up here. I recognise this beast here.
You don't.
Do I not? Oh no, it's got an offset.
That's a McCoy 29 Super Stunt from 1952.
It's a lump. Why? What was the purpose of offsetting the glow like that?
Basically, it varied in people's opinions that if you put the glow over where the fuel was coming in, you got a better burn.
All right. I've also seen them on some of the RC where they had two glows in.
Yeah, and some of them had the plug on the other side.
The total opposite philosophy.
Total opposite. So,
and then there's a whole stash of little
Cox engines, 049s, 020s, 010. There's the 010.
That's a little. I think I'd even hold that in my hand if I started it.
It does 32,000 RPM.
Well, I've heard them scream.
Yes, they
Definitely
do.
heard them scream. That's an unusual.
That's a K&B 020, but that's a replica. The original engines were made in, I think, 51, 52.
It's a lovely looking thing, isn't it?
That was made in Russia.
Yeah.
When we still talk to them.
And then we've got a couple of Sparkies down here. Has that been converted from a glow?
No, that's a genuine McCoy 29 racing spark engine. You see that's got a canted over plug on that one.
And what size is that, sorry?
5cc.
5cc.
It's a 29.
That's a, what's this?
This is a Stenter. A British engine, originally spark ignition, but whoever had that previous to me has converted it to glow plug.
That's a big lump.
That's a 6cc.
Long stroke on it.
Very long stroke and very noisy.
Was that because of the length of the stroke?
It's how soon the exhaust opens.
Can you make sure, will you put that back in? I don't want to stop. Whoop.
Like that, you mean?
I don't want to do that. Yeah, I've had a couple of long stroke engines. They've got a different pitch altogether to them, haven't they?
Yeah.
And then these are mills, aren't they? You can tell by the...
Yeah, mills and ED.
These are EDs? That's
they're PWs.
Oh, right.
And mills.
They're the EDs with the canked over thing, yeah. How many engines are in there?
About 160.
Deary me. I have heard that there's a company, some solicitors, that'll do a will for you and they'll actually write down what you've told your missus you've actually spent on them. But yeah, it's
the main thing is Janet knows about all this stuff and she knows how much it costs. But unfortunately, I've been given an awful lot of these. Yeah,
well, it's you run them, and that's the main thing. Like you say, putting them in a box is sacrilege. Not using them, putting them into models, and you've brought plenty of stuff up the field. Is that a Russian engine?
No, that's American.
All right.
That's a K&B 40 pylon, and I used that in a free flight model. That puts out about 2.5 brake horsepower.
Goodness me.
24,000 RPM.
Would that be on a tuned pipe?
Nope.
No?
Straight exhaust, exactly the way it is there.
Yeah.
And it is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Pulls really hard.
So what class did you use that in a free flight?
Open free flight.
All right.
You can use any size engine up to 10 cc's.
So what size plane was that in?
That was in 800 square inch wing.
Right.
Weighed about 32 ounces.
Right. Vertical climb that.
Oh yes. 9 seconds engine run.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, thanks for showing us round here and that technique, and we'll have a look. I'm definitely going to use the silk. I think it's got enormous potential.
So it's starting to dry off already, Mark.
Oh yeah, it is. It's still cold, so you can still feel it sweat.
You've got to keep an eye on it, but once it's dry, even if there is a problem, you can lift and put it back down again.
Right. Yeah. Well, so I've got to try something different with this Cirrus Moth, and this is the way I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to painting it, we'll see. But in terms of the covering, I'm going to weigh the silk that I've got. It's coming in a 5 metre pack, right. So I'm going to weigh the whole pack, and then we'll work out. But it strikes me it's very lightweight, so it's got loads of potential, and we'll see how it goes. You can get high as a kite on the dope in here, mind, Allan.
I can't smell it.
Well, thanks for your time, mate.
That's no problem at all.
Cheers.
I enjoyed it.